The Democratic presidential field keeps growing, and Congressman Eric Swalwell has been at the center of so many issues these days with the Russia probe, given his perch on the House Intelligence and Judiciary Committees. He joins me for his first interview on the beat since declaring his candidacy. Good evening, Congressman. Why are you running?
What's happening?
What's happening? We got a lot going on. Tell me why you're running for president, sir.
Yeah, Ari, I've been in Congress for 7 years now. I've led a group called Future Forum. I've taken our youngest members of Congress across the country. I see the hollowed out communities. I see the people who are just running in place, and they see on everything they care about, from ending gun violence to getting rid of the student loan debt they have to having health care coverage, that nothing gets done. We just go crisis to crisis when they're looking for us to go big on the issues, be bold with the solutions, and do good again in the way that we govern. I'm going to do that. That's how I live my life, as the first in my family to go to college, seeing hard work add up. I'm a father of 2 kids under 2, paying off my student loan debt myself, and I think you need someone who can see you, hear you, and be for you.
And it sounds like a strong bio. A lot of viewers and a lot of Democrats at this point know you from your role, as I mentioned, on Intel and Judiciary, on all this Russia stuff. And one of the questions I think that comes out of that is whether you were out too far before we got the Mueller report evidence on the issue of collusion. As I think viewers know, Mueller used a legal term and did not find a chargeable Russia-Trump conspiracy. You talk about collusion, and you've also, and I'm going to play this for you, talk about it pretty directly as if there was a personal link, a personal activity by Donald Trump established. Take a look.
All of the arrows continue to point to a personal, political, and financial relationship that Donald Trump had with the Russians.
Do you believe the president right now has been an agent of the Russians?
Yes.
Still not hearing the evidence that he's an agent of Russia.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. It's almost hiding in plain sight.
Do you believe that the Trump campaign colluded with the Russians in the 2016 campaign?
Yes.
Do you believe the president himself colluded with the Russians?
Yes.
There was certainly evidence of collusion, not evidence that met the beyond a reasonable doubt standard, but this president in no way is cleared.
Do you accept the findings in the Mueller report that do not support some of those claims?
Well, I accept that I probably should have been out there a little bit earlier, because who knew how many links there were, 200 pages of links. I accept also, Ari, that prior Congresses did not have an imagination to see a president or a campaign have so many concerning conduct and not write laws to prohibit it. But it didn't meet the standard beyond a reasonable doubt. But here's what we know. The Russians helped Donald Trump.
Sure, but to be clear, so you're no longer maintaining that he is effectively a, quote, Russian asset?
No, I think he acts on Russia's behalf, and I challenge him to show me otherwise.
Well, I guess that's what I'm saying. You accept the findings or not. I mean, one could argue that Barack Obama at times was, again, what does the language mean? Barack Obama was advocating on behalf of Cuba's interests if some people are critical of his Cuba policy. You clearly, in those quotes, though, were discussing it at the level of a financial link or a conspiratorial collaboration, which Mueller's evidence doesn't support. So I want to find out, do you accept that?
No, there's evidence of collusion and coordination there. It doesn't go beyond a reasonable doubt, but that doesn't mean that this is a good guy. I mean, we know the Russians helped him. He asked the Russians to help them. The campaign expected to benefit from it. What we don't know yet is, why won't he show us his taxes? Why won't he show us his finances? And look, Ari, if this guy is able to be blackmailed by a porn star, how do we know he's not going to be blackmailed by Vladimir Putin? And that's why we need to understand.
And this is the last question I'll do on this, and I'm going to move on. And I appreciate you being here to take the colloquy. Some candidates, there's some people in Congress we can't even get on. So I appreciate it. But the last question I'm pressing you on, though, is, yes, you can ask all those tough questions, but are you or are you not maintaining the asset theory, even though a 400-plus page report from Mueller does not document that?
I think he acts on Russia's behalf too many times, and he puts their interests ahead of our interests. He pulled us out of Syria. He wants to reduce the role of NATO. He continues to pull back sanctions on Russia. He won't tell us what he talked about with Vladimir Putin, and he won't tell us anything about his finances with the Russians. He acts guilty, Ari.
Moving to other topics, and wanted to get you on the record on that, gun violence is something you're hammering as a concern. How do you fix it? And is that an issue that you think actually distinguishes you in the Democratic primary, or is that something you guys are all have agreement on?
I'm going to be the champion to end gun violence. And in my first 100 days, I'm going to ask Congress to pass background checks. We did that in the House already. We need the Senate to actually force a vote now. I'm going to ban and buy back 15 million assault weapons, and I know most Americans are with me. We saw it done in Australia. It was just done in New Zealand. That'll reduce the victims in mass shootings, take the most dangerous weapons from the most dangerous people, and invest in gang violence prevention programs in the cities where you have victims whose names we never hear and stories we are never told. It just takes leadership, Ari. And what I've found, I think I've cracked the code with the NRA. They are a vocal, tweeting, bullying minority. And most people, the moms and the students and the parents, they want sensible gun violence laws. They're with us. We just need a leadership in the White House to do that.
I also want to get you on accountability because we talked about the Russia section of the Mueller report. There's also the question about what to do about the documented evidence of obstruction. Senator Kamala Harris, who I think she might be considered ahead of you right now. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, sure. It's early. It's early.
Early. Well, here's what she has to say about accountability for the president. Take a look.
There is an investigation that has been conducted which has produced evidence that tells us that this president and his administration engaged in obstruction of justice. I believe Congress should take the steps towards impeachment.
Do you agree with her, or is that too far right now?
We're taking those steps. We're on that road. Ari, I just happen to be one of the only candidates in the field that has to try the damn case, being on the Judiciary Committee. So
Sure.
When I was a prosecutor and I went to court, my pencils were sharpened, my subpoenas were ready, my witnesses were in the waiting room, and the exhibits were ready to be presented because I only got one shot. And it's not a road we want to go down, but it's a road that we may have to go down to save the democracy. And hey, Ari, as Nas said, trust your own judgment, live with it, and love it. And I trust that that's the right way to do this.
Wow, a little bit of Nas right in the middle of the interview. Impressive. Let me see if we can get you on a couple more issues before I let you go with something special we like to do around here, the lightning round.
All right.
The best thing you can say about Donald Trump.
He's not a quitter.
Anything you think about Bill Barr.
He's the president's lawyer, and he should be America's lawyer.
Working with Mitch McConnell if you became president.
I'm going to do everything I can to beat Mitch McConnell as our nominee. Not even going to happen.
Best album, workout song, the music that pumps you up to do what you're doing every day.
You're gonna hate this answer, Ari, but I've come to love country. So
Sure.
I'm on a country kick right now. So
I don't
yeah.
hate it at all. What's your go-to country?
Well, there's you're gonna kill me for this, Ari. I love Eric Church. I love Darius Rucker. I love Rodney Atkins. He's a Republican, but yeah, I'm a country music Democrat.
What about like a little achy breaky heart or anything?
Oh yeah, and I love Taylor Swift when she was doing country. I wish she'd come back.
Early pre-pop Taylor was a little more
Yeah.
Nashville, sure. Before we really let you go, and I know that you might go full Mueller on us and go no comment, but we do have a photograph that is public. This is you, I believe, senior yearbook. What was going on here?
You know, Ari, a lot of people experimented with bleach in high school. That just happened to be the way I, used it.
I think it's great. I think it shows people change how they look over time. And you mentioned bleach. Always better to bleach your hair than to bleach your server or your emails, Congressman.
That's right.
Okay, from pressing on the conspiracy issues to where you fit in the race, to gun control, to bleaching, to Nas, to country. Congressman Eric Swalwell, I hope you'll come back. Thanks for coming on The Beat.
Thanks so much, Ari.
Appreciate it, sir. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.